Hello, my name is Brittany Gibson, and I am the clinical manager with Care to Change Counseling in Avon, Indiana. And today I'm going to be speaking about seasonal affective disorder. Currently, I work with clients with lots of different struggles, depression, grief and loss, bipolar disorder. But today I'm specifically going to focus on seasonal affective disorder. I'm going to tell you what it is, what are some signs and symptoms, what's the prevalence of it, and then give you some tips if you may or may not be struggling with that, but also just some good tips that will help you be able to identify it and some coping strategies if you are struggling with it. So what exactly is seasonal affective disorder? Seasonal affective disorder is a type of depression that's specifically related to the changes in seasons. And so it usually begins and ends at about the same time every year. It could begin in the fall, kind of end in the winter. It also can be related to spring and summer as well. It also causes depression in the spring and early summer. Many people go through short periods where they feel sad or not like themselves. Sometimes their mood changes and begins and ends when the seasons change. People can start to feel down when the days get shorter, really related to having less light, having shorter days, longer nights. All of these things can kind of impact the seasonal affective disorder. In most cases, SAD starts in the late fall and the early winter and goes away during the spring and summer. This is known as the winter pattern or winter depression. Some people may experience depressive episodes during the spring and summer months. This can be called the summer pattern SAD of depression. So what are the signs and symptoms of seasonal affective disorder? It's not considered a separate disorder, but a type of depression that's characterized by reoccurrent seasonal pattern. So a lot of times people will notice this every single year. They kind of have noticed a decline in their mood, and they just notice this pattern year after year. So feeling depressed most of the day, nearly every day, losing interest in activities you once enjoyed, having changes in appetite or weight, problems with sleep, feeling sluggish or agitated, low energy, hopeless, worthless, really having trouble concentrating or getting out of bed in the morning, especially if it takes, till 8 or 9 o'clock to really get kind of light going. Some additional symptoms may be frequent thoughts of death or suicide related to this, oversleeping, undersleeping, overeating, weight gain, social withdrawal. So lots of different things that can be indicators of seasonal affective disorder. So who can develop seasonal affective disorder? There's lots of people that may have this, but may not realize it. They may just notice that their mood is shifted, or they're just kind of chalking it up to work stress. It occurs much more often in women than in men, and it is more common in those living further north. So again, really related to the light and not having shorter days and longer nights. So people who kind of live further north. So for example, people living in Alaska, New England, Canada region, it begins in young adulthood, and sometimes it can run in families. What causes seasonal affective disorder? Research indicates that people with seasonal affective disorder may have reduced activity in the brain chemicals, serotonin, which helps regulate mood. Research also suggests that sunlight controls the levels of molecules that help maintain normal serotonin levels. Other findings suggest people with SAD produce too much melatonin, a hormone that is central to maintaining the normal sleep-wake cycle. So again, kind of feeling like you're sleeping too long, related to the patterns of the light. Overproduction of melatonin can then increase sleepiness. So if you've got too much melatonin going on, then you could feel more tired and sluggish. Both serotonin and melatonin help maintain the body's daily rhythm that is tied to the seasonal day-night sleep cycle. So in people with SAD, the changes in serotonin and melatonin disrupts the normal daily life. So all of just the difference in the chemicals can create a really big impact in your day-to-day living. Deficits in vitamin D can also cause this. Having low vitamin D levels can cause fatigue, just trouble getting up and moving. And so all of these chemicals, a deficit or overproduction in the melatonin chemical can cause some of these symptoms that go along with SAD. Negative thoughts and feelings about the winter itself can be associated with seasonal affective disorder. So if in the winter, man, it's just really hard to get out and get moving. We have snow, I have to stay home because it's just so cold. Just those thoughts related to the season can also cause the symptoms as well. It's unclear whether these are specific causes, but it definitely can contribute to the disorder. So how is SAD treated? Treatments are available that can help people with SAD. So they fall into 5 main categories. So light therapy, psychotherapy or talk therapy, antidepressant medication, vitamin D, and movement and exercise. So I'll go into a little bit of detail about each of these things. So light therapy, we know a seasonal affective disorder that, again, the longer days and the shorter light time really affects our mood and our ability to get up and going. And so light therapy consists of sitting in front of a light that's much brighter than our normal lights in our house for about 30 to 45 minutes a day, particularly in the morning. And it's important to do this in the morning because it'll get you up and get you moving for the day. So it can be very motivating to do the light therapy first thing in the morning. It's a safe treatment for most. Again, it's just kind of sitting in front of the light. And so what this does is, again, it's kind of getting the chemicals in your body up and moving, kind of getting them going for the day. And this is an evidence-based treatment for this type of disorder. So traditional therapy or talk therapy can also be very helpful for seasonal affective disorder. Cognitive behavioral therapy, which is just the traditional talk therapy, aimed at helping you learn to cope with the symptoms, helping you work to challenge the negative thoughts, helping you work from a behavioral component. So if you're feeling very isolated, encouraging you to find different things to do, to not isolate, to kind of get you up and get you moving. All of these things can help improve the symptoms of seasonal affective disorder. So medications, so I mentioned antidepressant medication. Like other types of depression, SAD can be treated with medication. So selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs, can treat these symptoms, and these can you can notice great improvements with medications. Another form of treatment is just vitamin D. So like I mentioned previously, sometimes people can have a low vitamin D level, which can then contribute to fatigue and motivation. And so taking a vitamin D supplement can be really helpful in treating some of the symptoms, as well as movement in general. So exercise, aerobics, all of these things can just help you release really good chemicals into your body, release the endorphins, help you feel better, can be really helpful in the treatment of this disorder. And so just some tips to kind of help if you may be struggling with this. So the first thing is to really be aware. So notice if there is a decrease in your mood, and specifically if it's around certain seasons. Again, a lot of us, especially kind of in the north, we have really short days. The light is not out very long, and so we feel like we have to go in a lot. And so just really notice if you're feeling just not yourself, and be aware of what your moods are if you're having negative thoughts related to this. The next one is movement. Movement is super important to helping how you feel internally as well as externally. So just getting up, trying to go for a walk or exercise, doing this with friends can also be really helpful. So a lot of times with the social isolation, the withdrawal that can come with SAD, encouraging yourself to reach out to a friend or to go and do an activity can be really helpful just to get you up, get you moving and get you out of the house, as well as just being outside if you can. So again, back to the light. So the light therapy can really helpful. So just taking some time to go to a park, if it is a nicer day, sitting in the sun can be really helpful just to feel more rejuvenated. And again, we're trying to release some of those good chemicals in our body. The endorphins, sitting in front of the light can be helpful as well. And so I would encourage you to try some of these things if you're noticing a difference in your mood. And if you have tried those things and you're not noticing a difference, please reach out. You can find us on Facebook. I encourage you to check out our social media, Care to Change Counseling, as well as our podcast, as well as other YouTube resources. Thank you and have a great day.